Good day, everybody. Loki's going to help me today. So over this last week, I've been battling really hard with the moisture in my bins and some of these bins. So today, again, worked on it yesterday. I did not work on this one yesterday. This is my ENC bin, my brooder bin. It's very full and it's very wet. So we are going to do a little sifting what we can get off of the top today. Just take off what we can, because you know what, in this system we've pretty much got to just start taking what we can off, and this is not going to be it. And try to get some room in these bins. So what you're seeing here too is I'm starting with my European Nightcrawler bin, and I'm going to go to my Red Wiggler bin also to try to get some more out and stir them up, get some air happening in here. We just got to get something happening. Whatever we get out, we'll get out, and whatever we don't, we'll go back into the bin. So I guess there's a lot of babies in here, and that's okay if they happen to go into the castings. What's going to happen with my next batch of castings in my, I don't care if they're going to be mixed or not, because I'll start another bin of them, and they're going to go into my windrows out in the spring when I start them up. So we're just gonna give her. We're gonna not be so fussy on some of the things we do. We're still gonna have our ENC bins separated, right? But we're not going to. Oh, there's a worm. Just fell off my screen. But we're not gonna try to keep all things separate. I do believe that diversity is probably good, and we're going to see the benefits of having Nightcrawlers and Red Wigglers in our windrow setup. So I do believe that's going to make a difference. Hang on a second, I got somebody at the door. Yeah, okay, so I'm just going to take off what I can get through the screen as much as I can, and it's not amounting to much, but we're going to take what we can. Got to get some room in this bin, and I don't feel like starting another bin right away just for the sake of having more bins. Not when I can get the castings out and kind of work through it that way, right? Okay, so we're not getting a whole lot out, but we got something out. As we go through our bins, let's have a look at this. Yeah, there's a worm. Just, if I see a worm, I'll throw it back in the bin. There's a worm. Bound to be some worms in here. Not a big deal. Okay. So in the meantime, we're gonna turn things up. Like, these guys are muddy. Muddy. I'm gonna turn things up. add some more air. And for the next few days here, I plan on giving them a turn whenever, like at least once a day. And we're gonna open. We're gonna take the plastic off, and we're going to. I gotta really go through the plastic when I put this bin away. I'll cover it with one piece, but we're gonna open this up and expose it more to the air, so that it gets a better. It starts drying down. I've got to get it dried down so I can get some stuff out of them. These castings are so muddy. Just watched a worm, well, a live stream from the worm community with Hunter's Worms and AJ's Gardens and Greens, and it was awesome. Really good visit, really good listen. Nice to have that part of our community that we can enjoy and talk to, and wow, these guys are wet. Run ideas past. Listen to other people's concepts. Great. Girlfriend's got some. Colleen's got some company that just showed up here to pick up some stuff, and the dogs are going nuts. Alrighty. Okay. Put back in what I can just grab here. The reason I start with my ENCs all the time is to keep things kind of from crossing up, crossing over. Just looking to see if I can find any more worms that came through the screen. We didn't really take that much, so there might be too many. And whatever there is. They'll go to the castings. Okay. So I said I gotta really pick through these plastic because the worms they get up in this plastic, and I don't want them to get stranded, because I'm gonna take the plastic right out of this bin for now to get it drying out. And I don't want to lose a bunch of worms just because I didn't look for them. So that's one. And see, there's some pretty small ones on this. They really yeah. That's baby European nightcrawler. Come on. I don't know. Gotta be careful you don't just kill them. I mean, you gotta go easy enough that you're not squishing them and hurting them. You're next. Okay, I think that's clean enough. There is the odd. There's the odd one on there. I guess we don't save them all, right? I'd like to, but there's too many of them to try to get all of them on board. So we're just gonna start doing that. We're just gonna go like this. So the air can get to it all the way around. It's not tight. Got to start getting something out of here. Like they're just too full, and they're too wet. Too wet to deal with. Too wet to deal with. So these ones are red wigglers. I'm not gonna worry about taking this little bit of castings from the Euros out, because like I said, if the next batch is mixed up and with night crawlers and wigglers, it's just going to be. There's a red wiggler. So by doing this more and bothering them more, I'm going to piss them off. I know this. But I'm also going to get more air and more of this dry down time done. So, just got to get something out of these bins. And I'm not even going to skim the paper off right now because it's going to just go through the screen and come back. It's not an emergency on the worm part. It's we humans develop our own problems in our own mind, and I see it as a problem because I want to get some of this stuff out of the bins so that I can make more room, be more prepared for spring, get some more castings because I'm going to need more castings for spring. We are not getting a huge amount out. So, we'll just continue keeping, we're getting some stuff out. So, locally here, I think I want to try to do a workshop sometime in spring. I'm not sure if I have anybody that's watching this that is local enough that could possibly want to attend. If you are interested and you are, you know where I'm from. I'm from southern Saskatchewan, Kincaid area. I've been more public about that. Anybody that knows me knows where I'm at. So, if you're interested in doing a workshop on some worms and how I do worms and how I can help you get started into worms, shoot me a message. There's a big red wiggler. Nice little worm. Well, big juvenile. So we're getting more out. I mean, it's a slow go. It's a slow go. But we're also getting everything aired up also, right? And I've said it before, when it's wet like this, don't overload your sifter. All it will do is plug up. You've got to give the stuff room to move. Kind of tempted to try a few different things. I might be, seeing as my big bin is, the guy's bin is doing better at drying down and is not as wet as these guys. If I can get this stuff reduced, I was thinking I may put some of this into the guys to both conglomerate things together, to put things together so that there's not as much to take care of, and to help dry things down. If that system's running drier, maybe I can use it to help dry things down. And this worm bin and the next one we're doing all basically come out of the guides system. So there would be no cross contamination with it. I wouldn't be bothering anything. Nice little bunch of worms. So this is still a fun bin to work with and check with. I don't see where I'm gaining a whole bunch, but I'm gaining something, right? We're getting some stuff to drop through. There is not as much as there was a while ago. And that's, we're at a position here where things are just, you know, I got to work through it. It's going to take that little bit more time to work through it. And that's going to be real wet stuff, but I'm going to mix it with previous stuff that I have going. Actually, you know what? I have taken some out of this. So it's coming. Gonna turn it up. Gonna move stuff down. We're gonna go like this. We're gonna go like this. And this one is getting better. Really is. Okay, so here again, I'm taking the plastic off these bins. I have to. I don't. If I keep putting the plastic back on, I'm just going to keep prolonging the agony of drying down, and I have to get it dried down. End up on the floor. I'm usually not too crazy, but it's so wet it just gets back to mud. So rather than doing that, I might as well fix it up, right? Okay, that one's done. So we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to take these plastics off. Not forever, just once we get it, some of the moisture dealt with and some of the castings out of these bins, then we'll come back. Look for the worms, take them off. There we go. Okay, so anybody that's been following me knows how I do this. I just kind of take stuff off the top. Put her at the back. Put her at the back. Okay. Seen a lot of young worms in here. It's a good bin. And we're gonna put some young worms in the castings. It just doesn't matter. We're down to it. So that's all we're going to get out of this bin. And we're going to turn things up again, aerate. And I'm hoping by doing this more often in like maybe daily or so on, that we get a different texture to our bin for a little bit here. If it gets too wet later on, once I get a bunch of stuff out, I'm okay with that. You can't do anything with this stuff. It's so wet. That you have to, when you get to this point and you want to get castings out, I think you have to spend some time, concentrate on it, and look at how it's coming up. It's like working out in a rainstorm in a garden. It's really, really just massively too wet to deal with. Okay, here again, we're just gonna cover them up with the main, just that one. And try something different. Gonna want to try to bring the guys up and see how heavy they are. Oh, yeah. There's some weight there. Put this here. You guys see? A bit. Last little bit here, I've gotten actually a pretty good amount out of the guys here, but they're still massively wet. Not like those other 3 guns. I'm not to the point where I'm going to start uncovering these guys completely. Like, there's worm parties going on up here, guys. They're breeding right up here on the paper. And that's, you can't ask for any better activity than that, right? Like, that's really what you want to be done. You want them to get together. You want them to reproduce. They are definitely doing that in this bin. And I literally am to the point here where I could probably add a bin in here, but I'm not wanting to do that and then just turn around and resplit them again for spring to make more room. Like, I don't want to pile everything into this bin either, so I'm kind of torn on that. I'm not going to do it today. That's for sure. let's just turn this around here. At the end, we're working at closest to the camera. So this, I can easily skim some of the stuff back. Slide this over here. I do have worms in that paper, and I don't necessarily want to set stuff on them to crush them. Actually, this bin here, the guy's bin is working out really well on what we're doing to get things dried down. So just to give you an idea, that's how much we got out of those other 3 bins. We've got all stages of worms in these other 3 bins, and they all come out of the guys. Well, the first one was ENC's, but we didn't get that much out of that thing. A few cocoons. Just gonna keep doing this and getting out what we need to get out, because sometimes when you get in these situations, you just got to concentrate on it and get things in small increments. So that last stuff I was doing was so muddy that it's got my screen plugged up. We're just taking out as little bit as we can get. You know, I might be getting to the point where I'm going to start leaving a little more open. It's not that I don't have room to spin and I don't have time. So I probably shouldn't panic today. Take off the top all the way back. So through some of this discussion that we had today, or that Hunter and AJ were having today, it brought up some interesting stuff. So Hunter doesn't use cardboard, and AJ has one bin that he does use cardboard, and it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how he makes out of that. I use cardboard, obviously, cardboard and some white paper, not a lot. Try not to over concentrate on it. So here's my experiences with it, guys. If you're checking this out in the future, and yeah, it does take longer for Hunter's 100% right. It does take longer for paper to break down than it does, say. I've got no experience with peat moss. I don't use it, but I can believe that peat moss would break down much faster than paper and cardboard, and that's a very valid and viable point. One of the things I'd say on that is, when it comes down to the speed of things, I guess I like production as much as anyone else. I want to get it so my bins are productive, and more things, my numbers are coming up. I'm happy with my speed of my production. I mean, I'm not even into this for a year. Probably got, there's probably 2,000 bins in that bin. There's probably 2,000 worms in that bin, worms in that bin. My night crawlers, I'm probably to the 2,000 mark already, if not more. This bin here is really kind of a guess. I'm guessing 4,000 to 6,000 in this bin. So my red wigglers, I guess, came out of 250 worms. My night crawlers came out of 250 worms. Or maybe it was 500. I don't remember anymore. I have to go check my video from when we set it up. I think it was 250. I believe it was a quarter of a pound. Worms up here in Canada are expensive to get in. Our shipping costs up here are really rising. The people that have them are definitely learning that their product is in demand. I think I personally haven't tried to sell any, so I don't know, but I'm pretty sure these guys aren't charging this price because there's no demand. I'm thinking they're learning that they've learned that there's a demand. So I guess what I'm trying to get back to is I'm willing to wait for my production to come up. I'm not trying to make it all happen at once. When I bought my worms, I was always more than content to wait for my population to grow to where I needed it. And it's doing it. It's I will have enough worms and castings to do some projects. I won't cover all of my land. That's a pretty big project, by the way. Very big project. But I will be able to do some side-by-side plots and some comparisons to see how things work. and what we can do in our system to try to improve the soils that I have. And show people. I want to showcase it. I belong to a group here called Phoenix Regenerative Ag, and I'll put the plug out. We are a community-based regenerative group that tries to showcase some of the practices that we do as individuals to improve soils. So this will be part of the demonstration and part of a workshop day in the future to show people the results of worm tea, worm castings, maybe get people interested in wanting to do some worms on their own. It's all about showing people, and if we can help them out along the way, I would have to sell them some worms. I can't just give my stuff away. This stuff all takes time and money, and you gotta pay the bills somewhere. I don't have to charge what everyone else is charging. And it's not that I'm trying to lead people in a different direction. I just think we have to show people that there is a different direction. They'll either come or go as they please. Some of them might embrace it. Some of them will never come through the doors to check out what you're doing. That's just life. People don't have the same ambitions or the same drives as myself or anyone else. I mean, everybody's got their different drives. We're getting a fair bit out of this bin today, again. Yeah, it's wet, and yeah, there's going to be some worms in there, and some cocoons. I don't care. It's not like I'm losing worms in there in my cocoon, in my castings bucket. I can trap them. I can sift them again after a month or so, and they'll be bigger and more catchable in this screen. A lot of small worms going through the screen right now. I can probably guarantee that. That's not the end of the world. So, in my future projects, I've explained before, I want to go and I want to set up a windrow, a compost windrow at the farm, and I want to introduce worms to it. And for winter time, I'll cover it with straw and I'll cover it with plastic and I'll insulate it if I have to try to get them a chance to be able to survive the winter. I don't want every worm that I own to be under my bed. I think it's fun having worms under my bed, don't worry about it, but the amount that I need to do what I want, I'm not keeping under my bed. You see how my screen is getting more clogged up as I go. Getting too wet. We're done. We're done with the screening. Piece of paper. Okay. So we've mixed all this up. We're going to mix this up again and aerate it. Okay, I'm hoping you guys can see how many worms we're dealing with here. A lot of worms in this bin. This bin is definitely feeling a lot better than those previous bins. And we're just gonna turn. Here's our food. Take this back here, and we're going to. There's my worms, guys. We're going to turn it, get some air, more air in it, fluff it up more, and we're probably going to be back at this again tomorrow. And you know what? If I can get the amount of castings out of these bins in the next few days that I got out today, I will be more than happy. And I'm just gonna spread it out as much as I can so that I got as much surface area as I can. And I'm gonna start putting the paper back on. And this one here, I am going to leave things covered. I've got so many worms up in this paper that I don't know if I could get them all anyway. I'm not going to add any more bedding right now. I could definitely add bedding to my... I'm going to leave this stuff kind of back here so that the worms can figure out how to work their way out of it. There's a worm right there on top. Okay, cover this. Cover this. We're going to leave all this open to the air, and we're going to put our main cover on. I'll take it down. And this bin is heavier. It probably, you know, it's not even full anymore, and it probably weighs twice as much as those bins. Okay, so I've been putting the castings of the last few days in this bucket. Got my worm trap down in there. It's down there, trust me. So there's what I caught out of there today. I'd say that's, all in all, that's a decent amount for the amount we did. So I'm not disappointed that I did it. There's no 100% right way of doing this stuff, and there's definitely no 100% wrong way of doing it either. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of baby worms in here out of these we just took. So I am just going to gonna grab a little bit of paper, swish it around. Just to get the worms off of the plastic. And then I'm just gonna come over here to this worm bin over here. I'm just gonna put them in the back of the worm bin. And I'm gonna cover them back up. Okay, so subscribe and like and share if you like what we're doing and some of our content. Oh, there's a worm. Just put it on the castings. Let's see, we got most of them. There's a worm. And if you don't get these little worms off of here, they're going to be dried up and dead by morning. The ones that are on the plastic. Okay, so we actually have a bucket full of castings now. And this is really nice stuff. We need to let this mature. And the worm trap is in it. Probably going to have to build another worm trap, get another bucket up here to do some more, because it really is be all you can be right now and get as much as you can out of this stuff, because I've explained it. I need the room and I need the product, and I need to not just keep making more bins to make more work. I don't need more bins for more work. I can make this stuff enough work as it is. And it's not that I'm scared of doing work. What I don't want to do is just create work for the sake of creating work. So let's get realistic. I think we can. There may be a couple of bins that I might even put together in the future. Right now, I think what I got, I need to space it out so that I can have the area to dry it down. Dry it down and make the system more usable at the moment. So I hope you guys are enjoying what I'm doing. I'm showing you what some of the problems are in my operation along the way. And right now my problem is moisture. And I would have never thought I was going to run into moisture problems in the wintertime with my furnace running in Canada, because everything dries out up here in the houses, right? So this is a surprise to me, an educational experience for me, because I'm learning just like everyone else is learning. I'm not an expert at this, and I'm trying to work my way through these problems as I see them, and I'm sharing it with you. And I hope this helps you out in your operations and some of the things you can do. And there's never anything wrong with a question to another worm producer or worm guy or whatever, worm person. Let's go with that, because guys and girls can be worm people. Ask the question. If you got a question, fire it away. I might not have the answer, but maybe Hunter's got an idea, or maybe Meanie's got an idea, or maybe we can go further and go on to somebody like Captain Matt, or there's all kinds of people here. We have a community that has a lot of different experiences, a lot of different environments that we're dealing with, and somebody will have the answer. Keep in touch. Build the community. Community makes us strong and makes us not feel like aliens, because in my community here, I'm the only one doing worms, and people think it's funny. They don't understand how serious I actually think it is and how much it can help where we're going to go in the future. So like, subscribe, share, comment, ask questions. Don't be scared to ask questions. If I don't have the answers, if I'm doing something completely different, ask. Maybe I'll ask on my forum and somebody else can come in and answer. Maybe somebody's watching that will answer just through the comments. It's a whole different part of the video and the community is those comments. Those comments are great. So that's today. I believe we're on February 26th or 7th. I gotta check my calendar again. I lose track of the days. I believe it's 26th. No, it's 27th. Whatever. I'll put it on the description. And we'll catch you another day. Probably tomorrow. Have a great one.